I was 16 at that time.
Right.
तो मैं स्कूल में थी, among the senior class. और ये खबर आई that somebody had shot Mrs. Gandhi.
हाँ जी.
So it was understood that the person who shot is probably Muslim. That was our understanding. और I remember having this very panic discussion हमारे स्कूल में चल रहा था कि हमारी Indian team is in Pakistan. What if they are affected in some way?
Right.
So very very concerned about Gavaskar's at that point of time. फिर हमें बुलाया गया. The senior classes were called and we were told to take all the kids and make sure they reached home. So this is around before school time was over. And it's also Sardar Patel Jayanti on 31st of October. So we were celebrating actually. And the celebrations were and there was a halt to the celebrations. We were called in and about 12:30. All the buses were packed with kids and the senior kids were told that we had to ensure that the kids reached home.
Right.
So हमारी बस निकली and on the road there were also other kids, pretty much all schools were being sent. That was a decision across the board. So there were a lot of school buses on the road.
Right.
And the first indication was, I remember one of the Sadar schools, I'm not very sure which, I think Khalsa, and they were chanting Sat Sri Akal, Jo Bole So Nihal, Sat Sri Akal. And there was a reaction in our bus as what is happening. And by the time we reached home, we realized what had happened, and the news had still not come in. The news came in at some, I think, evening, 5:36. It was official confirmation, but by that time there had been enough rumors. And रात से खबरें आने लगी दुक्का दुक्का about the violence that was happening on the road. My mother, the next day my mother had to go to office, so she went in the morning. I guess there was nothing. By the time returned, she's already described to you what is happening. There was smoke in the sky. The sky was black, and one particular thing which was visible from our roof was there was this big gurdwara in New Friends Colony,
Right.
and somebody had set a truck alight and rammed it into the gurdwara. So there was this huge column of smoke and fire, and you could see it from pretty far away.
Right.
It's about a kilometer away.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of it was just grey, and you did not know what was happening. Mom was missing, and we were all very scared. She was very young, so we were all pretty much, the fear for us was mother's not there. After this, when we went back, it was very strange, and my narrative actually does not match with what the current narrative is, because I found very strangely that people were making jokes, and people were one particular line I remember somebody in my class said, "Par unhone bhi to mithai baati thi," which shocked the hell out of me. And they were telling stories about how mothers had attempted to disguise little boys as girls, but they had forgotten that there were albums in the house and people could identify. So all these stories were there. My classmates, 16-year-olds, were telling them to each other, and they were laughing about it. And it was pretty much across the board. There were very few exceptions who would react very badly to it, very angrily to what had happened. And this despite one boy in my school, who was a year senior to us, had been killed. So once that news came in, then of course things changed. And there was this whole drive. His sister was in 8th standard. We were in 11th. He was in 12th. And there was this whole drive to do something for the sister. So kids were writing notes. They were filling up her notebooks. There was this also happening. But the first 2-3 days after school reopens, there was a lot of carelessness. There was a lot of not empathetic reactions. It was like that, and but obviously, on the other hand, there were a whole bunch of us in 16-year-olds, teenagers, early 20s, students, all shapes, sizes, kinds, who were on the road collecting relief material, taking out. We used to spend the entire day going from house to house. I think it just gave us a sense of, we were trying to make sense of what was happening, and because obviously we couldn't.
Right.
It was so shocking.
Right.
So the only way we could do is like have some action. So we used to actually spend the entire day going from door to door collecting relief material. In the evening we'd sit and make posters. In the night we'd take up peace marches, torch marches. And that was how it was, the entire 11 days when there was a curfew in Delhi and we were all confined to our houses. The first time ever I have been, first and only time I've been ever, thankfully, seen violence of this kind, which is visible. It shook you to the core. That's what I'm saying. You did not have, it didn't make sense.
Right.
So one tried to, and although I was young, so I was not allowed to actually be part of the relief work, in the sense that I wouldn't go to bastis and do it. My parents did not allow me, but my aunts and all went, and we heard horror stories. And it was unbelievable that human beings could do this to each other. We heard all the stories, the tires, the burnings, we saw the houses being burned.
Yeah.
We saw the shops being looted.
Right.
That was happening. Even the arson happened in a big way in a New Friends Colony. Shops were being looted. Paint shops were looted. For God's sake, what? Why?
Yeah.
See, there was this thing building up. Obviously, Operation Blue Star had happened. There was a lot of anger.
Yeah.
Mrs. Gandhi was immensely unpopular. And then she was shot dead, and she was a legendary, she was not just a PM, she was a leader.
Right.
So she meant, like, for my grandmother was crying when she heard, and she was, it was like the end of an era kind of a thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it was a huge thing. Mrs. Gandhi dying, being killed is a very big deal.
Right.
And then suddenly, this starts happening. And you think, okay, it's a stray incident here or there, and then it'll stop. Then it doesn't stop. It's there. It's you're seeing it on the roads. Like our my mother was describing, our basti was protected because it's a Muslim basti. Nobody was coming.
And there's that park that sort of.
Yeah. So nothing much was happening here. Here there were more protests and more like an attempt to protest what was happening. But just across the road is. You can see people, the houses being burnt. You can see smoke coming out of. You can see people running in panic. And some of the people you identify as leading those lumpen mobs were people who actually, one of them was my aunt's friend, Rami, who then became a Communist Party member. And they were pointing out houses. And we recognized them. They were there.
Yeah.
Leading those mobs. They were very much part of it. Yeah. Those mobs were unrecognizable. I don't know who those people are. I mean, I couldn't identify them. They were not people one had seen before. Of course, violence does shake you to the core.
Yeah.
And I think there are only two responses to violence. Either you become a more violent person yourself, or you learn compassion.
Right.
I don't think it has changed me in that way, because my reaction, I would think, would have been compassion nonetheless.
Yeah.
So it hasn't really changed me, but it was profoundly shocking. I mean, it was like seeing people whom you thought were people, suddenly they're not people, they're monsters. There's some, zombie attack. They frenzied mobs, unrecognizable, and being led by people one did not. When we went back, soon after, there was this whole thing. It happened as a reaction. It was a justified reaction. But I think over a period of time, there was a lot of guilt.
Right.
And people started backtracking on that.
Yeah.
So it was more, 84 was remembered as a particularly shocking event which some aliens from outer space came and did,
Right.
which nobody really was involved in, either actually or tacitly,
Of course.
and we were all trying to help.
That day, because I was much younger,
Hmm.
so they didn't allow the first, second, third class.
Right.
So I was at home,
Oh.
and that's why when actually I remember bits and pieces. I put them together someplace, but I remember that she called from her office,
Hmm.
and she around afternoon 1ish or something to say that the riots have begun in Central Delhi, and she spoke to my father.
Hmm.
So my father said, "Let's go pick her up."
Hmm.
He had no idea what was going on, and by the time we reached the Gurdwara, both of us were going, and suddenly there was this crowd and lots of people, and I obviously didn't at that point figure what was going on, but my father did. So he immediately turned back, and we came home.
Hmm.
And then he dropped me home, and then he went on his own to get her.
Hmm.
But he came back after, he couldn't get her.
Right.
So we don't, at that time we didn't know what was going on.
Hmm.
She wasn't home by then, I think. So I ran upstairs and I went to, we had the terrace, from the terrace I saw the Gurdwara was being burned.
Yeah.
So it was so odd that I just started taking pictures. So I took pictures of the thing because there was this group project I had to do on pollution. So I thought this is,
Oh. Mhm.
pollution ka picture.
Right.
And then, of course, when by the evening, I think these guys came, and my mother came with other people.
Hmm.
And then, of course, it was. I remember the tanks very clearly. There
The
were
army tanks.
these small lanes, and this army tanks was going one after the other into our
Passing.
regular passing our houses, which I've never seen till date. I mean, unless it was, I've never seen anything like that.
Right.
And there was flag march, big words were being used everywhere. I remember hair cutting, a lot of the barbers cutting hair. And just langar, I remember that people were trying to get food together for the Gurdwara.
Right.
And dry grains were being collected, and clothes, and
And there was a curfew, okay?
Yeah.
I remember. So we didn't, shops were closed.
Hmm.
So there was a sort of,
So
we
just
had to
some
ration food.
rationing was going on.
And we were attempting to cook in the solar cooker.
Because the gas, the gas was not there. So we had this solar cooker.
Hmm.
So we used to, and we
Which
had to
was
cook large
useless.
quantities because there were a lot more people in the
Right.
house then.
Right.
So yeah, and it used to be kacha food, I remember. The solar cooker wouldn't cook properly.
Right.
And we had, and then I remember that if siren bajta suddenly, and all our aunts and everybody had collected in one house, in my grandmother's house.
Right.
So they used to push all the children under the mattresses, and they used to come and sit on top of us. And that was the most
Traumatic.
traumatic. It was really hot and it was really scary because something has happened. There's this loud siren,
Right.
and suddenly all your elders just shove you under the blankets, under whatever, and they sit on top of you.
Right.
So
And the
And it
thought
used to
was
go
the-
on for a while.
The thought was the army was passing by.
Yeah.
They can come in
and
and basically.
Yeah.
So which is why जो हाथ में आती थी, all the girls had to be hidden.
Yeah.
yeah, and which was very irritating because the boys could see the army passing by, and the girls were being. So we ran in Indu and I ran. We all ran to. I mean, we just got out of the mattress and we have to see the tanks. So of course I was that young. Okay?
Right.
So that
Yeah.
rivalry of the boys getting to see the flag march and us not.
Mm-hmm.
So it
No,
was
I
very
remember
scary.
actually, my
very
aunt
scary.
tried to hold me and I'm like, no, I'm running literally to the gate. And they were like, gate pe ladki chali gayi hai.
should get to the gate. No, it was, we were only allowed through the windows, but not.
To the gate.
No.
As such, yeah.
Because the fear was the army would come in and like randomly come into our house and harm us.
But
also
obviously,
there was this
Itna
also
confidence
constantly
tha.
rumors being circulating that because the Muslim bastis are sheltering
Yeah.
and the Muslim bastis are
They
cutting
will be
the-
under attack.
So they will be, suddenly in the middle of the night there was this a man who just rushed past on the streets screaming that they're coming, they're coming. So everybody just woke up suddenly and rushed out to see what is going on.
अबू ने
हाँ वो लूट का भी एक वो था.
मारा था एक को जा.
नहीं, that's because हाँ वो जो चिल्लाता हुआ गया था. Then Abu rushed after, my father rushed after him
And got hold of him
got
in my
hold of
office.
and slapped him. So why are you doing this? Because he said चढ़ाई लेके आ रहे हैं.
अच्छा.
बचो बचो बचो. So just
The creation of panic, complete artificial creation of panic. Maybe not artificial, I don't know, but and at that time all the Jamia professors and all had decided that they will do. So there used to be a shift throughout the night, and they used to guard the roads to make sure that no looted goods can come into the colony, or that nobody should attack. Like if the other Sikh people are coming in to get the haircuts and all that, so nobody should be able to stop them.
Right.
So that happened a lot. I remember my father and my
there was
grandfather.
one where this guy was coming after looting stuff and he had doll.
Wow.
उसको बहुत my grandfather, old man, but he just lost it.
The
child's
pettiness of
And I remember, there was a lot of talk of what has been taken, like diamonds and this and that.
It was lot exaggerated.
Exaggerated, and there's lots of talk of the looting, because I think in New Friends and all there was a lot more looting than, because the Sikhs
it was
inside New
primarily
Friends
arson.
also had the arms at some, because there was one gentleman who was being attacked his house, and he started firing from inside his house.
Okay.
That's how the crowd dispersed. So there were a couple of such instances, but basically the Gurdwara was gone. It was just like the one you see now. It's completely rebuilt.
Oh really?
This is not how it was. There were more trucks.
There were more trucks. They had done whatever.
They had filled it up with petrol and they jammed it.
They were unable to set fire to it because it was marble. So that the final thing was a truck that was rammed in, and there was this huge column of black smoke, which was just spiraling. I remember that spiraling smoke up.
And it just went on for days.
Huge. Yeah. It just went on.
smoldering.
It smoldered for I think 2-3 days. The fire just wouldn't go out, and nobody tried to put it out. Our colony was safe. It was more the not allowing the local elements to come in.
Right.
And so we were these people were guarding the boundaries. Army went through. It was just a
Army was what,
march
after 3 days after most of the
By
that time
right.
things
Place.
had sorted themselves out, right? The worst of the violence was done.
Yeah.
By
Absolutely.
the time the army came in.